It is the Cryptid Readathon, and you are invited to read weird books with us. If you're not already following my weird and wondrous hosts, Jason of Jason's Weird Reads and Fiber Artsy, I will link their channels down below if you want to go follow them. Okay, so I'm going to tell you what I'm going to be reading for the readathon, and then I'm going to tell you some of my absolute favorite reads that I've read over the years. This is now the third year that we've done this, so I have 5 favorites, and I think it's a decent variety. So let's get into it. Okay, so I love me some water-based cryptids, and I have not had a chance to read this. It is underwater horror, and it is fiction. Been meaning to read it for a while, and that is Into the Drowning Deep by Mira Grant. The ocean is home to many myths, but some are deadly. 7 years ago, the Attagatis set off on a voyage to the Mariana Trench to film a mockumentary bringing to life ancient sea creatures of legend. It was lost at sea with all hands. Some have called it a hoax, others have called it a tragedy. Now a new crew has been assembled, but this time they're not out to entertain. Some seek to validate their life's work, some seek the greatest hunt of all, some seek the truth. But for the ambitious young scientist, Victoria Stewart, this is a voyage to uncover the fate of the sister that she lost. Whatever the truth may be, it will only be found below the waves. But the secrets of the deep come with a price. What's down there? Hungry mermaids, probably, I believe. Okay, so next up we have Nessie, exploring the supernatural origins of the Loch Ness Monster by Nick Redfern. This book is a nonfiction, and Nick Redfern has been kind of like a staple in the paranormal world of things. Maybe you've seen him on Ancient Aliens or a variety of other shows. So he has a ton of books, and I am a fan of aquatic cryptids. Nessie, the world's most mysterious monster. For centuries, people have reported seeing a strange creature in the dark waters of Loch Ness, Scotland. It has become famously known as Nessie. The long-necked beast has attracted the attention of monster hunters, the world's media, and countless numbers of tourists, all eager to see it. Theories of what Nessie might be include a plesiosaur, a giant eel, and a huge amphibian. Nick Redfern, however, concludes that Nessie has supernatural origins, a creature tied to the world of the paranormal. So, I think that'll be a fascinating read, and I'm excited for that one. Also, if you don't know what a cryptid is a creature or humanoid thought to exist that people have had sightings and scenes, but there's no actual scientific proof that they do actually exist. All right, so next up, we have In the Valleys of the Noble Beyond, In Search of the Sasquatch by John Zeta. This is another nonfiction. On the central and north coast of British Columbia, the Great Bear Rainforest is the largest intact temperate rainforest in the world, containing more organic matter than any other terrestrial ecosystem on the planet. The area plays host to a wide range of species, from thousand-year-old western cedars to humpback whales to iconic white spirit bears. According to local residents, another giant is said to live in these woods. For centuries, people have reported encounters with the Sasquatch, a species of hairy bipedal man-apes said to inhabit the deepest recesses of the pristine wilderness. Driven by his own childhood obsession with the creatures, John Zeta decides to seek out the diverse inhabitants of this rugged and far-flung coast, where nearly everyone has a story to tell. From a scientist who dedicated his life to researching the Sasquatch, to the members of the area's First Nations, to a former grizzly bear hunter turned nature tour guide, with each tale, Zeta discovers that his search for the Sasquatch is a quest for something infinitely more complex, cutting across questions of human perception, scientific inquiry, indigenous traditions, the environment, and the power and desire of the human imagination to believe in or reject something largely unseen. And I thought that one sounded pretty fascinating, so we're going to get into that one. Up next, we have Bigfoot by Tom Burnette and Rob Riggs. So this one is also a nonfiction. Join investigators Tom Burnette and Rob Riggs on their amazing adventure into the wild where the mysterious creature known as Bigfoot dwells. Over the past 20 years, these two men have dedicated themselves to the search for Bigfoot in the Smoky Mountains of North Carolina and the swamplands of the Big Thicket in southeast Texas. Drawing on 40-plus years of combined field study, Tom and Rob present their personal stories, ethnographic research, and educated theories surrounding Bigfoot. revealing a substantial collection of evidence supporting Bigfoot's existence. This book provides details of the creature's history, habitats, and behaviors, with thought-provoking discussions on Bigfoot's elusiveness and potential psychic powers. And that is Bigfoot by Tom Burnette and Rob Riggs. Okay, next up is a book I'm super stoked to read. If you've been around the channel, you may know that my favorite cryptid is Mothman. He's right behind me on the shelf. So this book, Mothman by Richard Estep and Tobias Whalen. This is the new book that came out. I love the cover. Awesome. In 1996, darkness took flight, and Mothman has captivated the world ever since. When a large winged humanoid with glowing red eyes was spotted in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, the Mothman legend was born. Since that fateful night, it has become one of the most famous monsters of all time. Richard Estep and renowned Mothman researcher Tobias Whalen document first-hand accounts and conduct detailed investigations with the hope of seeing the cryptid themselves. This book chronicles their discoveries, which include large concentrations of sightings in the Chicago and Lake Michigan area. They delve into the science of Mothman, where it may reside and travel, and much more. From the encounter at Duffield Pond to the Van Meter visitor, Mothman presents terrifying experiences with the black, red-eyed creature that no one, including you, will ever forget. And so, yeah, this might be the one I'm looking forward to the most. Okay, next up, we have I Know What I Thought by Linda Godfrey. Modern-day encounters with monsters and new urban legends and ancient lore. The monsters of ancient mythology, folklore, and more contemporary urban legend have long captured the popular imagination. While most people in America today relegate monsters to just that, our imagination, we continue to be fascinated by the unknown. Linda Godfrey is one of the country's leading authorities on modern-day monsters and has interviewed countless eyewitnesses to strange phenomena. Monsters evolve, taking on both new and familiar forms over time and across cultures. In this well-researched book, Godfrey explores uncanny encounters with werewolves, goatmen, Bigfoot, and more. In more than 25 years spent chasing monsters, Godfrey has found that it often remains unclear whether the sightings are simply mistaken animals, hoaxes, or coincidence. When all the speculation is said and done, one question remains for fans and researchers. Are the creatures real? Or are they entirely otherworld? Godfrey suspects that it isn't an either-or question. Our reality operates on a scale from dense matter to realms the human eye cannot see, and as Godfrey investigates unexplained phenomena, her search for answers will fascinate casual observers and enthusiasts alike. And I think that sounds absolutely fantastic. Okay, so those are all the books that I'm going to be reading. I try to be realistic. I can't say I'm going to read like 10 books, but those are 6 books. I know I can read them all. So let me now share with you some recs I have that are some of my absolute favorite cryptid books that I've read over the years. And some are fiction and some are nonfiction. We'll start with the nonfiction. Okay, so first up, my absolute favorite nonfiction book I've read about Bigfoot is Where the Footprints End by Joshua Cutchin and Timothy Renner. It's absolutely fantastic. The artwork is all done by Timothy Renner in this. It is one of the more unique and interesting ones, and I feel like it has info in here that is not the same as like every other Bigfoot book that you get, and it's really freaking good. Also, that cover's amazing. There's a second volume of these too, which is also really freaking good, but I figured I'd mention the first one. If you like this one, look into the second one. All right, so this one, eyewitness investigators and cryptozoologists worldwide contend ample evidence exists supporting the survival of large, hairy, ape-like creatures alongside mankind today, lurking in the wilderness. By all appearances, these beings seem wholly natural, interacting with their surroundings and leaving behind hair, blood, droppings, and of course, footprints. Yet, despite their apparently physical nature, Bigfoot and its hairy hominid kin consistently appear mired in high strangeness. The peculiar, ineffable, and nonsensical absurdities so often encountered in paranormal phenomena. Some sightings seem more consistent with mythology than biology. Bigfoot often present supernatural attributes like luminescent eyes or the ability to pass ghost-like through structures. Anomalous lights are regularly seen in areas of frequent Sasquatch activity. Footprints persistently, if rarely, display odd-numbered toes, and most bafflingly, Bigfoot trackways suddenly terminate in the middle of open, untouched terrain. In Volume 1 of Where the Footprints Ends, High Strangeness and the Bigfoot Phenomena, authors Joshua Cutchin and Timothy Renner carefully examine not only the intersection of hairy ape men with global folklore, of poltergeists, fairies, extraterrestrials, magic, witches, ghosts, and archetypal women in white, but also question the fundamental assumptions underlying contemporary cryptozoological beliefs surrounding Bigfoot. This book is fantastic. I would highly recommend it if you're looking for something that's a bit more unique and really fascinating about Bigfoot. Okay, so the next one, this is a classic now in the cryptid nonfiction genre. If you have not read The Mothman Prophecies by John Keel, do it. If you have any interest in cryptids, you need to read this book. John Keel has several books. This is probably one of his most famous. And yeah, once again, I love Mothman. And this is like, I guess, the book on Mothman, maybe, for now. There's also a movie that was made as well. A True Story of Unexplained Terror. West Virginia, 1966. For 13 months, the town of Point Pleasant is gripped by a real-life nightmare, culminating in a tragedy that makes headlines around the world. Strange occurrences and sightings, including a bizarre winged apparition that becomes known as Mothman, trouble this ordinary American community. Mysterious lights are seen moving across the sky, domestic animals are found slaughtered and mutilated, and journalist John Keel, arriving to investigate the freakish events, soon finds himself an integral part of an eerie and unfathomable mystery. And yeah, like I said, this is a classic, so if you haven't read this, definitely read it. Would highly recommend. Well, actually, all of these, obviously, I would highly recommend them. They're my favorites. Okay, so next up, let's say you just want to read about a variety of cryptids because you really just don't know what your favorite is. United States of Cryptids by J.W. Ocker is fantastic. There is all kinds of cryptids in here, and he kind of like categorizes them by where in the US that they're found. So you'll have like north, east, southwest, and the different areas of where different creatures are found. And there were some in here even that I had never heard of. Like, I thought that they did a really great job on doing this. And it's fascinating to read too. And like, cool cover. Meet the monsters in our midst, from Bigfoot to Mothman and beyond. Welcome to the United States of Cryptids, where mysterious monsters lurk in the dark forests, deep lakes, and sticky swamps of all 50 states. From the infamous Jersey Devil to the obscure Snallygaster, travel writer and chronicler of the strange, J.W. Ocker, uncovers the bizarre stories of these creatures and investigates the ways in which their communities embrace and celebrate their local cryptids. The Bat Squatch of Washington, Nain Rouge of Michigan, Flatwoods Monster of West Virginia, Lizard Man of South Carolina, the Gloucester Ghoul of Rhode Island, and so many more. And yeah, this book is great. Okay, so now I'm going to give you two of my favorite cryptid fiction books. And if you like horror, these books are great. Okay, first up is The Bigfoot Horror by Max Brooks, Devolution. This book is amazing. If you haven't read it, it's so good. I feel like the situation that happens with this like volcanic eruption and survival between humans and Bigfoots, like this is what would happen if that situation were to occur. So let me tell you the synopsis of this book. As the ash and chaos from Mount Rainier's eruption finally settled, the story of the Green Loop massacre has passed unnoticed, unexamined, until now. The journals of resident Kate Holland, recovered from the town's bloody wreckage, capture an unforgettable tale of strength and resilience, of humanity's defiance in the face of a terrible predator's gaze, and inevitably of savagery and death. In these pages, Max Brooks brings Kate's extraordinary account to light for the first time, faithfully reproducing her words alongside his own extensive investigations into the massacre and the legendary beasts behind it. Part survival narrative, part bloody horror tale, part scientific journey into the boundaries between truth and fiction. This is a Bigfoot story that blurs the lines between human and beast and asks, what are we capable of in the face of the unimaginable? And it is absolutely fantastic. This book blew me away when I read it. Like, it's so freaking good. Another of my absolute favorites is The Loch by Steve Alton. And maybe as you can guess, The Loch has to do with Loch Ness monsters. Makes sense, right? This is the first in the series. The second book gets super weird, which I liked. It's like way out there, but this is like super good. And there's supposed to be a third book coming eventually at some point in time. I think it was supposed to come out this year and it didn't. So maybe next year. I think it's called like Heaven's Lake or something. I don't know. Anyways, Marine biologist Zachary Wallace once suffered a near-drowning experience in legendary Loch Ness, and now long-forgotten memories of that experience have begun haunting him. The truth surrounding those memories lies with Zachary's estranged father, Angus Wallace, a wily Highlander on trial for murder. Together, the two plunge into a world where the legend of Loch Ness shows its true face. Okay, and so Zachary Wallace, he's a scientist in this, and he doesn't really believe that Nessie exists. His father absolutely believes Nessie exists, and the reason he's in jail right now and on trial is because everyone thinks he murdered someone, but he's like, no, the Loch Ness Monster ate this guy. Okay, so that's going on. They should have said something about that in this synopsis. But as Zachary gets deeper into this, he starts to discover stuff that may point to, yeah, there is the Loch Ness Monster or monsters. And it's a crazy story. It's like such an addictive read too. Like I flew through this so fast. This is the author that did all like the Meg books, like the Megalodon and whatnot. And while I read the first book in the series of the Meg, which I thought was okay, and I think that was like one of his first books that he ever wrote, The Loch, if you like water-based cryptids, this one is awesome. Okay, and then also I should have mentioned this at the beginning of the video, but I forgot. So we're going to do it now. There are prompts for the Cryptid Readathon, but in all honesty, if you just read books about cryptids, that's all that really matters. But if you need a little like prompting, here are the 4 prompts that we are doing for the readathon. And those will also be posted down below in the description of the video. Okay, so the first one is read a book featuring your favorite cryptid. And if you don't have a favorite, maybe a book that has like multiple cryptids, and then you'll find yourself drawn to one. Prompt 2 is read a book about a cryptid that you would not like to run into in the dark. That's probably a lot of them. I feel like that's fairly an easy prompt to do. All right, prompt number 3, read a book about a water-based cryptid. Sea serpent, mermaids, Nessie, kelpies. There's a lot of different crazy cryptids that are underwater ones. And lastly, read a book about a forest-dwelling cryptid. Those are the 4 prompts. Like I said, if you want to follow those, you can. If you just want to read about cryptids, also super cool. And we do have a Discord. So if you'd like to join the Discord, that will be down below in the description as well. So I hope you'll join us for the Cryptid Readathon. And if you enjoyed hanging out today, hit that subscribe button, come back, see me again, and we'll talk about more bookish things and weird stuff.